this scheme that was done, this child sex trafficking thing, this is where I think a lot of the conspiracy theorists get lost, right? All the conspiracy theorists, they go, oh, Hollywood is a bunch of pedophiles, and the politicians and global elites, they're a bunch of pedophiles, and all this kind of shit. I honestly believe it's not that they're all pedophiles. It's this is the thing that they use to compromise people to maintain power over them and control over them. This is what they use now. In the past, it was maybe being gay, right? Like you catch someone doing some gay shit and then you go, hey, we're going to out you as gay. And now it's okay to be gay. So, okay, you could out me as gay and I get a bunch of PC points and I'll be okay, right? Before, maybe there was a time where they just killed people flat out, right? Now we're at a time where you cannot think of anything more horrible than fucking kids. Right. It's absolutely disgusting.
And that's what they use.
And I think they're using it as a power and they're a power tool. And I think that these people who are part of generational spy families, right? Let's say William Barr is part of it. We don't know. And his dad put Epstein. That means that's 2 generations as well. That's not just Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know if William Barr is, but let's say his dad Donald was tied in, right? And now William is also tied in. That's 2 generations. This is not some like, oh, random people are doing a sex trafficking ring. This is how do we compromise people in positions of power and manipulate them to get what we want out of them.
Use the taboo of pedophilia.
Exactly. So and I think these conspiracy...
Make pedophilia okay. And then problem solved.
Son, if we became okay with it, like people are okay with homosexuality, then they'd have to find something new.
Yeah.
Oh
Animals, what you gonna fuck donkeys?
Oh my God.
That was the Romans, and then the whole empire just collapsed.
Greeks too.
That's right. Once guys found it was okay to fuck guys, they're like, I'm not dealing with these bitches anymore. I'm gonna deal with this shit all the time, bleeding all over the fucking place. Only a little trickle of blood comes out of an asshole. We can clean that up. That's why we invented plumbing.
Oh my God.
Anyway, point is, I think that these conspiracy theorists,
crazy.
I think that they lose a lot. The common folk when they start going, everybody in Hollywood's a pedophile. Right? Yeah. That's where they lose the common folk, in my opinion. I think if they said they are using pedophilia and they're using child sex trafficking as a tool, they themselves could know it's awful, and that's why they're using it, because of how awful it is. Does that match up, Mark?
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah. This is not to say that there aren't pedophiles that are like Prince Andrew is probably a pedophile, and they know that he is. So they're targeting him specifically because they know that they can compromise him. And by compromising him, the royal family has to protect itself. The royal family is an entity in of itself, right? So if any one of those people look like they're doing some foul shit, the royal family got to cover that up because that bleeds into the rest of the family. And then once the royal family covers up one person, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. Same with Epstein too. Like he's a pedophile, but they're able to use his pedophilic predisposition as a tool to control him, and then do their bidding.
We all saw Princess Diana. She wasn't towing the line. Took her ass out.
Out of here.
Globally, power positions lend yourselves to being predatory behavior.
So that's your answer right there. When you asked, why would they do it? Why would they be? You can't get me to fuck a 12-year-old kid.
Right.
Right? Maybe there is a slightly higher correlation between people who are into pedophilia and into positions of power because they view that relationship with the kid as a position of power, not as completely sexualized. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a theory. I think the other direction is also like a possibility.
What's that?
That like if you have power and you recognize that like American media and American entertainment is like one of the most powerful exports that America has, and that like through film and music we're actually able to dominate on a global scale like how the rest of the world like operates. Like you have like Black Lives Matter protests happening all over the world because in America it's happening. You have it happening in places where there are no black people.
Yeah.
And it's because like America's cultural export is so like prominent, so dominant globally. And so why would you give the people that are able to control and that are the faces of this cultural export without any sort of tether to control what they're doing?
So this is really interesting. Let's say you're a kingmaker, you're an exec, right? You've exported this type of culture forever. You're exhausted, bro. You can't keep putting up all these fucking you can't put out all these different ideas and continue to export this culture. You need to take a break. You need to relax. You have a fucking yacht. You want to chill out. So you want someone else to continue to do your bidding. How do you ensure that they're going to do what you want them to do? you make sure they're compromisable.
Trump, Russia.
Trump, if that
Type
is
shit.
true.
That type of shit.
That type of
Whether-
shit.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you ensure that they'll do the exact thing that you want to do? You
Make
need to
them
have some
compromise.
dirt on them.
Yeah.
And then the second they try to go offline, you go, yo, remember?
Yeah.
Remember you did that foul shit to that little kid?
That's
And
what Scientologists do, don't they?
maybe.
Yeah,
They make you confess to like everything you've ever done,
Yeah.
and then if you try to leave, they hold that over your
Yeah.
head.
It's
Oh.
like,
We got everything you've ever done on tape.
like priests, like in the Catholic Church, you have confession and like you go confess your sins and you get absolved. In Scientology, they do the same thing, but
They record it.
it's recorded. And if you try to dip, they're like, oh, well, you know, you need help for this thing that you did that we have on record.
There's that documentary Going Clear. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
But the idea could easily be transferred into other.
So if they need to tether powerful people, basically you have the option of give the keys to someone that's broken, that's then manipulatable, and that's someone that is predisposed to be a pedophile that you give power, or the inverse where you break them and then give them the keys.
Yeah.
Either way, you need to make sure they're tetherable.
Yeah.
Some would say. That's the speculative conspiracy part.
Let's look. Obviously, we're fucking around. Obviously, we're just talking. We don't know every single fact here, right? And this is flagrant too. We're not the news. We don't have to know every single fact. We're talking
We don't
about
have to know any facts.
We don't gotta know shit.
We made all this up. Nothing's real.
Yeah, except Native Americans.
Maybe they're made up. There's no evidence.
Yo, real talk. Maybe they were never here.
Maybe they're a hypothesis. You know what I
Holy
mean?
shit! Is that name one of them? Pocahontas hypothesis and Pythagoras.
Yeah, bomb philosophy.